Good afternoon, Architect Mike, and thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We know you've been using Blocktec AAC, so we just have a few questions for our viewers. For my first question, Architect Mike, what would you say are the biggest advantages of Blocktec AAC or autoclaved aerated concrete blocks?
Well, as an advocate of green architecture and being one of the founding members of green architecture, I have been really praying that something like this will come to the construction industry. So when I heard about AAC, Blocktec, I was so elated because finally there's a material that is green, and it will, bring a big impact in the environment if people will use this all the time.
Actually, Architect, a lot of our viewers would probably have the question that how would we save with Blocktec AAC compared to conventional hollow blocks?
Well, of course, if we use AAC, we save a lot of time in terms of construction methodology because, of course, there will be no more plastering needed. There will be no more rebars. There will be no more mortars to put in between the hollow blocks. So I would say that we can save a lot of time, maybe about 50% for the masonry works.
Architect Mike, we have also a lot of viewers who have in mind, since there's no more rebars, baka tumumba na lang yung wall namin. What can you share with those people who have questions about that, the absence of rebars?
Yes, I think a lot of contractors and architects are, of course, they're surprised because when we introduced this Blocktec AAC blocks, we always tell them that there's no need for rebars, and it's a matter of educating them, because we don't need rebars actually because AAC is very light material, and of course the system it also has brackets naman at the end of the blocks to be hooked to the columns. So it's just a matter of educating them and teaching them how to use the blocks properly.
Architect Mike, what would you say are the advantages of Blocktec AAC for engineers?
In terms of engineering design, I think that engineers can have a shorter time in doing the structural design because if you use AAC blocks, it's very, very light material. It's almost like it's 5 times lighter than concrete hollow blocks. I think that's the comparison. And imagine all the savings you can get from designing the structural members, the columns, the beams, because your building will be lighter. And what's more, it will be safer. It will be a safer building because it's going to be light.
You said safer. Will it be safer, let's say, for earthquake? Because, of course, the Philippines is preparing for the big one. What is its significance, of Blocktec AAC with earthquake?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the advantage of AAC. Since the building will be lighter, it will be, for me, it can withstand the intensities of these earthquakes much, much better. Yes. And in my study, before I used AAC, I was studying also the history of AAC in other countries like Taiwan, Japan. And when they had these big earthquakes, the only buildings that survived, most of them were using the AAC blocks. And of course, in all other countries, our neighboring countries in the ASEAN region, 90% already is using AAC blocks for their buildings.
Actually, Architect, if, let's say, for our homeowners naman, those who are planning to build their dream home, what would you say are their advantages or benefits in using Blocktec AAC for their dream home?
I think when you use AAC, especially for the interiors, you will realize that your house is a much, much better quality because the walls will be much straighter. Since there is no more plastering, the walls will not be wavy. That's the problem with plastering. We always say, ay, maalon. Yeah. But if you use AAC, then skim coat, straight. No more plastering needed. Thereby, you will create a sleeker, cleaner walls and much, much better houses.
My last question, Architect Mike, is where do you see Blocktec AAC in 5 or 10 years in our construction industry?
I'm really hoping also that the AAC blocks will be used more extensively in our country, because not only it's a green product, it's safer for the environment, and it produces less carbon footprint, and as a whole, it's much a healthier block. And of course, the advantages, like it's a 4-hour fire rating, lighter, and eventually, I think that people will catch up on these ideas, and then they will, use it on their projects as well.
Architect Mike, just a few words for our viewers who are thinking of using Blocktec AAC.
Well, I think if you want to have quality houses like what we're doing, you can check our houses and see it at FCS Facebook or Instagram. And if you have to have that kind of houses, then use Blocktec AAC, and you will not regret it.
Architect Mike, it has been my pleasure to be with you this afternoon talking about Blocktec AAC.
Thank you very much.
And again, thank you and more power.
Thank you. Thank you.
You may follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and also visit us in our warehouse. And you may also contact us in our mobile numbers for site inspections or demos.